what you accept, baby. Check your mindset. If you want a different life, you gotta raise the price. Expect what you accept.
Hello, and welcome to Expect What You Accept podcast. I'm your host, Doretha Bailey. On this podcast, we have discussions on identity, mindset, and transformation. We want this to be a mirror and a guide, not just a regular podcast. Are you a leader at home or in the business world who no longer wants to shrink to make others feel comfortable? Well, this is the place for you. This is where we become the best versions of ourselves for the rest of our lives. So let's join on this journey together. Today's guest is the definition of purpose, resilience, and power. As a dynamic leader in healthcare and entrepreneurship, she has dedicated her life to serving others while empowering people to take ownership of their health, their voice, and their future. But beyond the titles and the accolades is a woman who understands what it means to break cycles, create opportunities where none exist, and to become the first. Her journey is not about professional success. It's about legacy. As a first-generation trailblazer, she has paved the way not only for herself, but for others to know and see the possibilities because she chose to walk boldly in it first. Her story is one of resilience, faith, leadership, and impact, proving that sometimes the greatest assignment in life is to become the person you never had grown up with. Please help me in welcoming my friend, Dr. Donna Patterson.
Hello. Wow. Were you talking about me?
I'm talking about you, friend.
Wow. I'm so happy to be here.
Oh,
thank you for having me.
You're so welcome and such an honor. It's so interesting how people come into your lives. And you came into my life and I came into yours literally from a place of being authentic. Mm-hmm. It was a very raw moment.
Yes.
The journey for it's going almost 2 years since, you and I have met.
Year and a half, maybe a year and 8 months. Yeah.
No. June is going to be 2 years.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
Yeah. Next
Where
month.
did the time go?
Just crazy, right?
Yeah.
Just where time's going. So I will share with the audience, how you and I met.
Okay.
So it was one of the most vulnerable times of my life. I am one of those leaders that have been known to kind of just look out for others, but not for myself. And one day in my office, 2 of my employees came in and we were just talking, having random conversations. And one of the questions they asked me was, when was the last time you had a physical exam? And I just paused and I had to think about it. It's been years since I went in and got a physical exam. And so one of them, so I'm just going to put it on your calendar. I'm like, no, don't worry about it, And so here it is. This is 2024. And they went ahead and they did it. And there's always signs, that are there, but I just wasn't paying attention to it. And my sign that I was overweight wasn't initially the doctor's visit. There was a sign before. There was others as well. But that February, I went to Puerto Rico to celebrate my son's birthday. And we're going to do horseback riding, which is the first I've, ever done. It was going to be a shared experience. And one of the things I had on there was a weight requirement. And the weight requirement was 250 pounds. And I'm like, okay, I'm fine. I'll be okay. I stepped on that scale and it said way more than 250 pounds. I thought there's something wrong with the scale. And I went off and did something else because it was higher for my son, who's been watching his weight and whatever. So I just didn't pay any attention. So to fast forward, now I have this appointment. It's the end of May. I stand on that scale and it says 287 pounds. I was knocking on 300 pounds. I have always been an athlete. I've always been in shape. I was in the military, and I lost myself. How did I get to this point? That I was starting to freak out. And this is the first time now I'm scared about my test results, what's going to come out of it, everything. I leave the appointment lost. And as I'm driving around, I land at your door.
How did you find me?
I remember there was like a weight loss clinic there years ago.
Yes.
But it wasn't even
Right.
it anymore. It was something completely different.
Right.
I didn't know you from anywhere. It was you and somebody else. And as soon as I walked through that door, I said, I need help.
Yes.
And there was another female military veteran sitting there. And I was just very vulnerable at that moment. And I have never done that before in my life. But I knew I needed help. But I knew that I needed to get to the root cause, but I didn't know that how deep I was going to get into that root cause. And our very first session, we scheduled it for June. I want to say June 7th. For some reason I stick it in my head.
Right about June 6th, 7th, thereabout.
And I sit down and I shared and I said it out loud that I was raped. And that I always put on extra weight, kind of clothe myself and whatever it is. And I've been dealing with it when I came out to help an employee who was going through domestic violence. Mm-hmm. And to reach her, I needed to go there. And the last time I had a exam was when they were burning my uterine wall to stop me from bleeding because of the remnants of the rape. And I just cried and cried and cried in your office. So that led to not only me just sitting down, sharing, you ended up telling your story.
Yes.
And then we ended up just crying.
We had a cry session.
Multiple. We're 2 hours, all of that stuff.
We went deep.
We went very deep, pouring into each other. Two strangers who ended up not knowing that we needed each other, and we ended up being each other's help.
Absolutely.
And one of the things that we talked about with, this podcast is around is finding your voice. So tell us your story and when you lost your voice. So who are you? Let's start there.
Who am I?
Without the accolades, without the titles. Who are you?
Who am I? That is a question that I've asked myself multiple times, trying to figure out who am I underneath all of this. Removing the title, like you said, the accolades, the degrees, because I find that oftentimes we tend to pack success to hide what's underneath. We pack the success and all the things above that makes us feel like we are better than we really think we are. And underneath that surface, we're all struggling. It's like a little girl that's just struggling to be seen, to be heard, and to be understood. And I promise you're not going to make me cry today. You have a tendency of making me cry. But I feel that I was this little girl who I grew up with my grandparents, as I had told you before. My mother was around, but she was busy doing her thing. And so I think in the process of that journey, my grandmother loved on us, and she did the best she could to take care of her grandkids. She was raising her grandkids and not just me. But I felt invisible in that family, and as I was getting older, I felt like I was a responsibility, someone to feed and to make sure that I'm safe, go to school, come back home, and I'm safe. But there was no birthday parties, and there was no celebration of me as a person. No one reading to me as a child or putting me on daddy's lap. I don't have those memories. I don't have anyone telling me that they love me. And I still hold on to this memory of when I was 10 years old, and I it was my birthday. And so here I am thinking, because my cousins, they have birthday party, 2-parent household. And here I was thinking that they're going to surprise me. So everyone's pretending like they don't remember it's my birthday. And so I'm waiting and waiting for the surprise. And it was about 5 p.m. And I walked out on the back porch where my aunt was sitting, and she was in the process of peeling an orange. And I said to her, Auntie, and I called her by name and I said, today's my birthday. And she said, oh, really? And she said, here. And she gave me the orange. And that's when I realized nobody remembered my birthday. And that continued on for years. Even my own mother didn't remember my birthday. And so I felt invisible. I felt unseen, and I felt unheard. One thing that I took refuge in as a child was reading. It's like it transformed me to a different world that was outside of my norm. I read books of luxury and people living different lifestyle other than me, and it transformed my mind. And so that kind of kept me going. It kept me going, and I kept dreaming. So it's like I was living a dream. But who am I today? I am an overcomer. I am someone who have been through many storms, not only as a child, but as a young adult.
Right.
I've been through an abusive marriage. I've been through homelessness. I've been through bankruptcy. I've been through stuff, and as most of us have. And I said it's a journey. I believe that my journey has led me to where I am today. So I don't regret any part of it, and I'm not ashamed of any part of it. But that has allowed me to be able to help other people instead of becoming bitter. I feel like, let me just grab this. Instead of becoming bitter because of my own story, I feel like I've chosen to be better. And in doing better, I now want to help other women on their journey as well, who have been struggling with their own pain, their own traumas, whatever they are. Because I always say we're on a journey together. But the thing is, we don't talk about what we're going through enough.
Right.
We hold it in, hence the weight gain and the overeating and the anxiety medications, because we don't feel safe sharing those stories with someone else. We feel judged, we feel less than, and maybe we feel like we're not good enough. And so that has been my goal, is to help others to overcome, to speak, to talk about what it is that you're going through. Share it. We're here to listen. And as you shared your story with me, I didn't want to sit there and let you feel like you were being judged. I wanted to sit there and after you're done talking, tell you, listen, hey, you're not alone, because I've been through some stuff too. I went through this and I went through that, and we're in this together. And if I overcame it, you can too, because you're very successful in your field. You are a badass, if I should say so. You're a badass in your field, in your career. But who would have known underneath this person that everyone at your job, you're a leader. You have teams that work under you, look up to, that you were struggling with those issues. And you took the time, somehow you felt safe enough to share that with me. And I'm just happy that we created a space where you felt safe, that you could share that story.
I think it was divine time, right? It was definitely the universe that linked us together because we needed each other.
Yes.
And I'm happy to sit there and say, I know you've been trying to, I just want to show you, I want to do all this stuff. I'm like, no, I'm private. I don't need anybody to know my business.
Right.
But being one of your most successful clients from a weight loss standpoint.
The most.
Yeah, 100 pounds.
Yeah.
But it was a journey. And there was times that you saw me fighting myself, that you had to sit there and kind of just put the foot down. I had to fight you. Yes. I'm a little strong-willed, I'm a true Taurus.
But it was the emotional.
It was emotional.
Traumas, the emotional fight. Yeah. But we got through it together.
We did. And it's one of those things that that's what true friendship is. When it's not forced, when it comes authentically. And you don't have to worry about putting on a mask to make others feel comfortable, right? Or for you to shrink. You have accomplished a lot. You're a business owner. You own your own business.
I do.
You know, let's say that out loud. You own your own business.
I own it.
And one of the things that we talked about is always trying to go to the next thing.
Yes.
Right? Oh, I'm done with this.
Yep.
Let me go to the next one.
That's me.
And I remember looking at you one day, you're exhausted. And I see it all in your face. And you like, you won't even allow me to hide it. I'm like, no, you need to go rest.
Yeah.
And you did. But then I see on Instagram some content. And so
You thought I was rested.
yes. So I go in and I waited because I was like, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to ping her yet. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And you went to go do what everybody does. You went to go paint over it. And then I forced you to look in the mirror. Mm-hmm. And do you remember your thought in that process?
Well, I remember that I'd gone to Destin. So we took a drive down to Florida to get away because I was exhausted. I was just running on empty. And you said, you need rest. You should go. And I went. But I felt like I needed to create content of my day while I was there to post. And you called me out. You're like, you should be resting. What are you doing? You're still working. And I think I said that I don't know how to turn off.
You did.
Yeah. I don't know how to shut down and just stop.
And just reset.
And just, I've never known how to do that. When I got my doctoral degree, I felt so empty afterwards because I didn't know what to do with myself. I didn't have to study anymore.
Isn't that crazy? I did the exact same thing. And so funny. It's like, oh, I'm going to go into the next degree program.
Yes.
I'm going to go into the next thing.
Yes.
You don't know how to be still.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I felt like I went to a stage of depression because I didn't know what to do with myself after that.
Do you know how to celebrate you? I don't think I've ever asked you that question.
I don't. I don't celebrate me, but I celebrate others.
Isn't that funny? Because I do the exact same thing, is celebrate others. And I'm having an aha moment. With each milestone from a weight loss perspective, you wanted me to celebrate certain things. Even when it came to the book, you wanted me to celebrate. Mm-hmm. And I was just,
It's nothing.
It's not. But yet, for you, I was like, oh my God. And I'm posting it everywhere and I'm doing all of this other stuff for you. But I didn't know how to do it for myself.
Right. And vice versa. Because I celebrated. I was so excited for you and you finally wrote that book.
Right.
And you got it out. And I was just so proud that you did it because it's something you shared with me that you were 3 years in?
No, 6.
6.
It was 6.
Even worse. You were you were writing this book for 6 years.
Right.
And you just didn't know how to put it out there. I think you felt vulnerable.
I did. I remember even sitting with you, going through the manuscript, and I was like, I don't know if I should do chapter 1 and 2.
Yes.
And you were like, what? And another vulnerable piece of it was, even though you knew the story, right, and others didn't, even my own family didn't know it, but you knew it. I felt embarrassed of you reading it. And you remember you were sitting right in front of me, and I'm like, what do I do?
Like silence while I read.
You did.
Yeah.
And we talked about why do we feel we need other people's validation and our own validation should be good enough for ourselves.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. I'm like, I'm knocking on 50 years old, but you're still looking at it. But there's a point that I lost my voice as well, too. And that was the time of the rape. The hardest part for me, there's a couple, but one I keep coming back to all the time. I know how to fight, physically fight. Mm-hmm. I love it. I took training in it. I knew it. And when it happened on my birthday, he raped me with a plastic bag. So it was one of those shopping bags that it took me a while to be able to see that, right? I remember distinctively thinking I was going to fight and I was planning it, but I stopped myself and said, I need to get to my boys. For a fighter, that's hard. And I lost my fight. Mm-hmm. And it took years.
Yeah.
And my sons are aware of it. And so I try to even get back to fighting again. And my oldest is, he's taller than me. He's a little bigger than me. And he was like, okay, get out of this situation. And he's on top of me. And he said, and I remember freezing, but the fear in his face when he looked at me, it took them a while to snap me out of it. But I remember saying, he's too heavy. Not trying to figure out how to fight, whatever it is. And I'm crying. And my sons are trying to pour in, Ma, you gotta do this. So my youngest, who is more petite, well, I can't call him petite, he's like call him petite, but he's smaller in weight. And they're men, right? He got on me, and I had a hard time moving him. When I tell you my kids got in my ass, in my face.
Yeah.
And it was just like, this is not what we do. You will never allow this to happen. But it took a long time of going into your clinic and going through all this other stuff because I needed to heal and get back to me.
Yes.
Now I'm back, right? I'm good. I'm gonna fuck you up. So we good. So
don't even try.
Don't try it. You know. So, but I lost the fighter, and I didn't realize I lost the fighter until I literally have been watching like documentaries lately. Like, I'm a big documentary person. It was on Hulk Hogan. They had one with the, the Gypsy King, Ronda Rousey, and then, Gina, right? So they all had lost the fight at one point, and it clicked. When you are naturally a fighter and you lost it, it is hard to get back to that.
Absolutely.
And when you lose your voice because of that one incident, I will sit there and shrink and not say anything at all. Regardless of whatever people have said or they have treated me or whatever it is. Even though I'll be tussling in the inside, I just couldn't handle it.
You began to accept it.
I did. And one of my reclaiming my voices was, I'm laughing because I can hear your voice in my head when I ended a 27-year relationship.
I remember the day.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was going to do it last year when I was in Hawaii. And my mother and we were taking our lays and we were saying things that we're going to let go. And I was getting ready to say it in the tip of my tongue, but I knew that words have power. I didn't say it out loud.
Right.
So I said it a little bit later when I got back. And so I told God, I said, well, the next time he calls, I'm just go ahead and end it.
Right.
Whatever it is. I'd be darned. By the time I landed, I turned on my phone and I saw that I had a missed message. And now we've been going, back and forth for 27 years, but it was comfortable. It was whatever it is.
It's like a security blanket.
It was a security blanket, even though I didn't care for a couple of things or whatever it is. But I didn't cry. I didn't have butterflies in my stomach. I said, I'm done. He said, are you breaking up with me? Now, we weren't together at the time. I was like, yes.
It was time.
It was time.
It was time.
And the interesting thing is when I told him, I no longer love you more than I love myself.
Yes.
He said, without hesitation, which I shared with you, because you were like, are you sure? 27, y'all can't be friends? No, I'm done. So, and everybody's like, no,
cord.
just cut the cord. I'm done. I'm done. And it wasn't anything he did. It's stuff that I had allowed him to do and that I accepted.
Yes.
And I didn't like that version of myself.
You needed to end that narrative.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So when I said that I no longer love him more than I love myself, he instantly, without hesitation, he was like, I doubt it. I said, well, if I did, I wouldn't have allowed you to treat me the way you did. And I hung up. Then, trying to grab the power back, you remember I called you? I was like, wow. And I'm just rambling on. So that was on a Friday. So I get a text message from him on Monday, and he says, congratulations on being, I think he said it was like courageous or something. It was like courage. It was courage and hope that I stay in contact, whatever. I'm like, I'm good. No, I'm done.
Yes.
But the interesting thing is I didn't know how to say it in a nice way, but still authoritative. So I went to ChatGPT. So it's just like, how do I say this?
Yeah.
And I did, and I sent it, and I blocked him, and, you know, it is what it is.
And you've been good.
I have.
But that was a crutch that you were holding on to as well, because he knew you before all that happened.
Oh, yeah. He knew me when I was 21. So he knew it all. Yeah.
He knew it all. And that was the one person you felt safe with.
I did.
And so we hold on to these crutches like myself, you know.
Right.
I've been in an abusive relationship, but this wasn't a stranger. This was a marriage.
Right.
And I stayed in it for 15 years. And you may ask me, but why did you stay so long? Who knows?
Right.
I convinced myself that I loved him.
Isn't that crazy how we do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he was my first love. He's the daughter. He's the father of my child, you know. But after a while, those things were not relevant anymore. And when I got to the point of enough is enough, I was done too. And I filed for divorce, and I moved out the room. And at that point, I was able to walk away without looking back.
Is that when you became homeless?
Yes. During that divorce.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So you went out on a leap of faith.
I didn't know I would become homeless. It just so happened that during a divorce, he was asked by the judge to move out of the property because he was abusive. And so we were still living there, my daughter and I. So he called the bank, and he told the bank, I no longer live in that house. I don't want it anymore. And so he stopped making payments. I was in nursing school. And this was right after 2009 in the recession.
Okay.
All the banks were closed and everyone had lost their jobs. And so I'd gone to nursing school because I'd lost my job at the bank. And I was in school full time. I had no income. And so I could not take over the mortgage. And I even asked him, I remember asking him, I said, you're going to do that to your own child?
How old was your daughter at that time?
7. And he said, whatever happens to her, it's your fault because you're the one that want this divorce. You know, when you're going through a divorce, it's like you don't know people until you really know them. Yeah. That's when they show their true colors. And so we were there in the house for about 3 months before the bank sent us notice to say that it was time to go. On this date, we're coming to lock up the house and you need to get all your stuff out. And it was on that day I became homeless. I had to move out all my stuff on the front lawn. You know, my daughter came home and all her stuff is on the front lawn. I'm giving away furniture. I'm giving away exercise equipment. I had nowhere to take them to. And so this girl I met when I went to school, to nursing school, the first day I was in school, I sat beside her in math class and she spoke to me and we became friends. And I realized she's Jamaican, I'm Jamaican. So we became close friends. I visited her church and she offered for me to stay in her house, in her basement. Her basement was unfinished, but it was a place to stay. You know, I could always use the shower upstairs. And so I packed all my stuff in black garbage, construction grade garbage bags, pots and pans and clothes, whatever could fit in garbage bags. I packed in there. And that's what I took my daughter and my dog, and that's it. And we moved into her basement. My daughter slept in one of the rooms with her children. But her home was full, and I wasn't going to displace her kids just, you know, so over time, ultimately, we were going to this church together, and the pastor there and another church brother, they decided they wanted to make a room in the basement for me.
Okay.
So I had a place of privacy for myself. And so as they were building this room, we would cook them lunch, I remember, and that was their pay. We cooked them lunch while they're doing the work. And when they got down to sanding that sheetrock and all the dust was covered over everything I owned, all my black garbage bags were covered in, you know, all that dust from the sheetrock. I think that was my lowest point. One of the lowest point of my life. Just realizing.
Sorry, go ahead, finish.
No, just realizing where I was. And I was in nursing school, so I didn't want to give that up. That was my lifeline.
That's getting ready to ask you. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, you're starting this new thing. You need a job. You got to figure stuff out. To you're changing your career, because I think you were in banking
I
before,
was in
right?
banking for 15 years.
Banking, you're starting a brand new career. You don't have a home. How did you keep going when all the odds said you need to pivot and go a different direction?
Or go find another job somewhere else, right? It was definitely fate, prayer and fate. And I always say that was the one gift my grandmother gave me. The best gift she could have given me is the ability to know Christ for myself and how to pray. Because she would wake up every morning at 5 a.m. and she would wake up all her grandkids, and we hated it. And we would have to sit through these long prayers, long prayers. But I learned how to pray for myself. And it was through prayer and through faith and through the people that God sent my way. They weren't family. They weren't blood related, but there were people who supported me. I had friends who bought gas and put in my car so I could go to school. I didn't have a job. I was on the food stamp. I was in school full time, and I had a child to take care of. I did not have any way of working. And so when my vehicle broke down, my girlfriend lent me her vehicle to drive to school all the way up there in Pantersville Road off of 285. That's where I was going to school. When my car ran out of gas on the road and I couldn't make it, I called my friend crying. She bought me gas. So it was stuff like that, people that God sent along your way, along your journey, that help you overcome the obstacles. Because otherwise, I could have ended up in like a mental facility just from the depression and the stress of what I was going through.
That's when you're tested the most. And one of the things I'll say I've been hearing lately from a lot of those I have interviewed thus far, on the podcast, is everyone seems to go to their faith, and it's there, as a tool, right? And something that goes through. When did you start really honing in your voice when you had lost it?
Well, like I mentioned before, I did lose my voice. I felt like I lost my voice as a child. And I didn't share that story here, but I will tell you really briefly and then I'll get back into the question. When I was 12, I recall I needed books for school. I was supposed to take my end of year exam so that I could go to high school. And it was the common entrance is what we call it in Jamaica. And I walked to the back door. My mom was outside washing some clothes. And I said to her that I needed money for books and uniform. Books to do my exam. It was a uniform. And her response to me at the time was, translated in English, was, "What do you want me to do? Do you want me to go sell myself and get it for you?" And yeah. I lost my voice in that moment. And to this day, it still bothers me that I'm afraid to ask for help. I don't ask for help. I don't like asking for help. Even in my own relationship, if I'm in need, I will find some way of, probably why I work as hard as I do.
Yeah.
And it's because of my childhood traumas. And so in losing my voice and going through the things that I went through as a young adult, I had to find a way of reclaiming who I was. And I know that it was prayer that got me through because I was on that altar praying and crying.
Is it reclaiming who you were or defining who you are?
Good question. You have a way of challenging me. I think it was defining because I didn't know who I was. I needed to define who I was and who I was created to be. And not just the version that the world handed me. And so, my eyes are getting... And so, prayer helped get me through it. I was able to forgive those that harmed me along the way. And I think that was the best thing that I could give myself because I was no longer bitter. I was not angry at my ex-husband. I could actually be a friend to him, which actually happened. But I was able to pray and ask God for help. And it is through those moments of, call it consecration or whatever you might call it, of loneliness, the stillness. I'll call it those moments of stillness where I found peace and where I found that I want to help someone else along their journey because I don't want others to go through what I've gone through and just feeling so alone. And so one of my mission, other than, in my business, is to help those that have been displaced through homelessness, whether, women and children, because my child was displaced as well.
Right. 2 final questions. If you were to look at the 7-year-old you, what would you tell her?
I would tell her to hang in there. I will tell her that she's going to grow up to be brilliant, smart. She's going to help a lot of people along the way. And whatever struggle that she will endure through her life, that it's going to make her stronger and even better. And that she should never give up on herself. And she should never allow anyone to make her feel less than.
You know what I would tell her?
What?
I see you. And you are worthy. That is what I would tell her. From me being her friend, her 7-year-old friend. That's what I would tell her.
That's a good one.
So what would you like to share with the audience? The lessons that you have learned from Expect What You Accept.
Expect what you accept, right? That is so appropriate because in life, we are challenged and we go through a situation that we tend to accept. If we hear it often enough, we tend to believe it. And the more you believe it, the more you start conforming to that thing that the world tells you that you are. So my word for the audience today is you are bigger than the world define you to be. You are stronger because you're created in God's image and you're created for a purpose. And so I challenge you today to refuse to be defined by the standard of this world and the things that people try to label you as. Do not accept less than. Do not accept you're not good enough. Because you are more than good enough. You are God's creature. And he did not. You're God's creation. And he did not make a mistake when he created us. So when you start conforming, you have to expect that this is the way it's going to be. But Doretha, this book that you wrote, that Miss Bailey wrote, has challenged us that we can never accept what was never meant for us. It was never meant for you and it was never meant for me. And once you start expecting that this is the way life is going to be, that's the way it will be. So challenge yourself today and decide in this moment that you will never conform and you'll never accept less than you deserve. That's my word.
I love your word. One of the other things too is, thank you for talking about the book, but you are also an author.
I am.
Would you love to share your books and where they can get it?
Absolutely.
And then not only that, plug your business.
My book. Let me get my book. Well, I too am an author. Yes. And it was a pleasure. I felt like we wrote our books together because we were going through the journey at the same time.
Right.
Even though yours started 6 years before mine did. But at the time when we made a decision to put this out there, we were going on that path together. So I've written 2 books, and this one is titled Becoming Her. And Becoming Her is it's my stories. It's a book of resilience. It says, a journey of faith and resilience for the woman reclaiming her power. And having listened to our stories and what we've been through, this is the most appropriate title I could have given it because I had to learn to become her. Who is her? That her is me. That her is you. This book is available on Amazon. Both books are. And this book is called All Storms Will Pass. It's more like a devotional, and it's a reminder that whatever you're going through in life, regardless of how hard that battle may seem, of how challenging that storm may be, just know that every storm that has ever come upon us on this land, they all pass. And so will your storm. So you hang in there, because God is with you, and because God is with you, you shall never fail. And my business is called Rejuveneer Health Med Spa. We're located in McDonough, Georgia, off of Jonesboro Road, 2023 Jonesboro Road in McDonough, Georgia. And we are there to empower health and wellness through our weight loss program and so many other programs that we do. But as our clients are losing weight, we're finding that they're losing and shedding that trauma as well that they've endured that has caused them to lose weight, to gain weight, whether it's through their eating or depression or whatever the symptoms may have been. And so we empower health and we empower wellness. And of course, we empower you, because we did it, we've been through it, and I know that you can get there too.
Well, where can the audience locate you or find you if they want to reach out to you?
On social media, I can be found on Instagram at Dr. Donna, @Dr. Donna_NP, or the business name Rejuveneer Health, at Rejuveneer Health, REJUVENERE Health. We can also be found at www.rejuveneerhealth.com. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, TikTok, and I'm on LinkedIn as Dr. Donna Patterson.
Well, thank you so much, my sister friend.
Yay! This is amazing.
Oh, thank you for your vulnerability. Thank you for your candor. Thank you for your beauty and your words of wisdom.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yay.
I just want to hug you. I'm so proud. I'm just so proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
We didn't even talk about your weight loss.
Not that much, no.
Not that much.
But we'll do it on yours. We'll
do it on my podcast.
Yes. Now that I said it out loud to everyone, we could do it on yours. 100%.
Very proud of you.
I done now told the world, but yeah, we're good.
You look great.
Thank you. Well, again, thank you for viewing another powerful episode. I hope you are getting what you need. I hope that what you're hearing today in today's vulnerability reaches each and every one of you. Today's episode is sponsored by the book, Expect What You Accept, which is available now on Amazon. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe, because we want to make sure that you are on top of what's new and you're able to get these beautiful gems. Also, go out and get the book, because we're going to be talking about chapters in the book and we want you to be able to sit there and keep up. Also, if there's anything that you would like us to talk about or you would like to pour in, please let us know. We're happy to do so. And have a beautiful day. Thank you.
Used to make excuses for the way I felt inside.